Good morning. My name is Andrew Morton, principal of Aylesbury Public School, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to Aylesbury Public School today for this announcement. Before we get started, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. We are one of 262 schools at the Peel District School Board. Aylesbury is home to a rich and diverse community of over 1,000 students, families, and incredible staff. At Aylesbury, this can be seen both in the classroom, where we celebrate academic success, as well as learning beyond the classroom, where students can be seen engaging in a variety of extracurricular activities, such as cooking, the arts, and our athletic program. We are glad to have everyone here today and excited for this announcement, as Aylesbury Public School, the Peel District School Board, the Province of Ontario, and all of Canada will be able to benefit as we promote student success through inclusion, innovation, and empowerment. It is now my pleasure to welcome to the podium Minister Kamal Khera.
Well, hello, everyone. Good morning. Bonjour tout le monde. Thank you so much for that kind introduction, Principal Morton. Before I begin, I want to take a moment just to thank Principal Morton and all the teachers and staff at Aylesbury Public School for all the work that you do day in and day out for our community. And of course, I want to give a special shout out to all the wonderful students that are behind us. A huge shout out to you. It's been a very busy, exciting day for this school, so I want to say thank you to all the teachers for making this happen. So wonderful, and glad to be joined here by my wonderful colleagues, of course, alongside our Prime Minister, my colleagues MP Ruby Sahota, Sania Sidhu, Maninder Sidhu, Shafqat Ali, alongside Minister Valdez and Minister Jenna Sudds. And of course, I want to acknowledge our provincial colleagues, Minister Parsa, Minister Dunlop, as well as Ms. Yetman, and of all the wonderful stakeholders that have joined us here for this very exciting announcement. Now, let me just say it's so wonderful to be here with all of you and to share some really exciting news for families and children right across our community and our country. Now, for those of you who don't know, Brampton West is one of the youngest communities in the country, full of young families, children, a community filled with big dreams and hopes. And this is a community that's growing like the rest of our country. And we know how much our community benefits when we invest and deliver for families and children. Whether it is tax cuts we delivered for middle-class families, $10 a day early learning and childcare, or our Canada Dental Care program that is providing coverage to over 6,000 residents right here in Brampton West alone, or the Canada Child Benefit that is helping over 26,000 children in this community of Brampton West with payments that just went out this Monday. We know these are the investments that have and continue to truly transform our community. And it really is a testament to the importance of investing in and supporting the members of our communities. And that is why, of course, I think it's so fitting that we are here in our community of Brampton West to make another historic announcement that is going to deliver even more supports for families, children right here and across the country. And to tell you a little bit more about this extremely important announcement, it is now my pleasure to introduce someone who has championed these progressive policies from day one. Please give a warm Brampton welcome to our Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau.
Bonjour tout le monde. What a pleasure to see you all today. What a treat for me always to be back in a classroom surrounded by teachers and students. I miss it every day, but I also know that the way we are celebrating our teachers, celebrating and providing our students the most important start and day is a huge part of how we build Canada's success from coast to coast to coast, and that's what I'm doing. Je veux particulièrement remercier Andrew pour ton accueil ici aujourd'hui, ton leadership, all the leadership and teachers of the school here, also all the students who I got to see diligently showing, developing their leadership capacities as they're sharing school food programs, their fellow students and understanding how important it is to bring a positive difference into the world with everything you do every day. Speaking of positive differences in the world, great to be here with such a strong members of our team, Kamal, Jenna, Michael, Jill, Heidi from the province and from the Canadian Teacher Federation. There are so many reasons to be optimistic about how Canadians are doing in stepping up and pulling together in challenging times. And we're actually seeing the results come together. Inflation has come way down. We're therefore seeing interest rates come down, which is making a huge difference. We're seeing record amounts of foreign investment coming into Canada to create jobs and opportunity and boost our economy in very tangible ways. So there's lots of things that are really good news for the Canadian economy. But at the same time, Canadians are squeezed. Canadians are struggling to make ends meet even as our economy is strong. And that's why as a government, we've stepped up with concrete ways to support families as we bring down inflation, as we see interest rates come down. We've been able to deliver in a whole bunch of really concrete ways for people. What we've done on childcare, saving thousands of dollars a month to families right across the country at a time where costs were going up. Delivering dental care to over 1 million Canadians, on our way to 9 million Canadians. That takes off massive pressures on family budgets when they don't have to pay out of pocket for dental care anymore because they didn't have insurance. Moving forward on pharmacare, free insulin for people who need it. Free prescription contraceptives because everyone should be able to choose when and how to start a family. These are things that we've invested in to take pressures off Canadian families. But we know there's more to do. Canadians need even more of a break. And that's what we decided to do for 2 months starting in mid-December as we're taking the GST, HST, off of a whole bunch of really important items that tend to add up so quickly. And I know families are peering over their budgets, looking at what they can afford, making choices in the grocery stores that are very, very current in their minds. Well, this is about making sure that people can afford to give their kids and give their families the best possible options. We're taking the GST, HST off of groceries, all groceries, for 2 months starting in mid-December. We're taking the GST, HST off of restaurant visits, and that's takeout and fast food as well. We're taking it off kids' clothes and footwear. We're taking it off toys and Christmas trees for the holidays. We're taking it off things that tend to add up very, very quickly for families to give people that tax break that they really, really need. On top of that, we're delivering a Working Canadians benefit as of April. That'll be $250 to everyone who worked last year but made less than $150,000. These are investments that are there to help people at a time where we are squeezed and as our economy is starting to really turn around in a positive way, to make sure that everyone can feel it, to make sure that people know that we are focused on them. But even as we do that, we're stepping up today to deliver more school food right across the country with a huge agreement with Ontario that is going to set the bar for the rest of the country. It's really exciting because we made a commitment a number of months ago in our last budget that we were going to deliver school foods to 400,000 more kids right across the country in working with provinces and territories directly. C'est exactement ce qu'on est en train de faire aujourd'hui. On a fait la promesse de 400 000 enfants à travers le pays qui allaient accéder à la nourriture scolaire de façon plus facile et plus régulière. $1 milliard sur 5 ans qu'on était prêt à investir et de plus en plus de provinces viennent travailler avec nous pour livrer pour les jeunes. Aujourd'hui, on célèbre le fait qu'ici en Ontario, 160 000 jeunes vont avoir plus accès aux nourritures scolaires. Right here in Ontario, we've now reached a deal that's going to deliver healthy meals to 160,000 Ontario kids more over the coming year. This is a huge difference. We're talking about close to 10 million meals just for the rest of this school year, and obviously much more for the coming years as well. There we go. We know the impact. We can see it here at Aylesbury Public School, the impact that school foods have on kids and on the entire community. First of all, as a teacher, I remember well, when kids don't have full bellies, when they can't hear the teacher because of the grumbling in their tummy, when they're worried and low energy and not able to focus in class because they're hungry, we all suffer, not just them, but the future they're building and the future contributions to Canada that we know they want. That's why investing in school foods is about being there for everyone. And it's not just for those vulnerable kids, although there's always more support for them. It's for all kids, because more and more families, even if they have the means, are rushed in the morning. More people are trying to scramble to make sure their kids get enough good, healthy, nutritious food. This is there for everyone. It's to make sure that every kid has the opportunity. No stigmas, just support. That's a really important part of the program. The other really important part of the program that I've seen firsthand that schools are launching across the country is the fact that there's so much opportunity for student leadership. As students take handle of the program, they're the ones actually preparing lunches for their peers. They're the ones delivering the snacks. They're the ones being involved and understanding that making a difference in your community is one of the most satisfying things in the world. Knowing that you're there to help out, knowing there that you're contributing the world for the better is an incredibly important thing to learn, that they get modeled all the time by amazing teachers, but they get to actually deliver support to their peers in a way that is transformative. And I do want to point out something, because there's been a lot of misinformation and disinformation out there. When we put forward this National School Food Program in the House, the response of Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives was, no, we're not supporting it because it's just more bureaucracy. Now, I know they read the bill before they voted against it, but the fact that they are misleading people about this is really, really frustrating. Because this is about $1 billion going to help kids right across the country and work with existing programs. There is zero bureaucracy created with this money. This is federal money that is going into schools, to provincial programs that will just increase the coverage, increase the amount of food for kids. So, it is inexplicable to many people why Pierre Poilievre, who keeps talking about understanding where Canadians are, doesn't want to actually solve any of the problems that Canadians are facing. He voted against dental care and tried to block seniors from being able to access the dental support that has had such a huge impact across the country. He stood against the child care expansions and the $10 a day that's made a huge difference on Canadians. And he's now standing against pharmacare and the National School Foods investment that is delivering tangible benefits. And it shows the bottom line that he doesn't actually want to solve the challenges people are facing. He just wants to amplify them and convince everyone that Canada is broken. Well, when I see a school community like this one pulling together to deliver for each other, when I see all the advocates in this room have been fighting for greater opportunities for their kids, I see Canada at its best. I see Canadians at their best. This is what we're stepping up on, and to be able to say from the very get-go, the Ontario government was strong and enthusiastic about moving forward, about getting to this point and getting food, more food into schools and into kids' bellies as quickly as possible, is how Canada should work. Where different orders of government from different political parties can roll up their sleeves and deliver for Canadians. Not throw up their hands and say, oh, it's just all bad, it's all terrible, it's all broken. That's not who Canadians are. That's not what we want to do. This is on top of so many of the other things we're doing. We recognize that Canadians are facing challenges right now, and that's why we've been stepping up. Stepping up with an increasing Canada Child benefit that puts hundreds of dollars a month in the pockets of families that need that support. Even the price on pollution we're putting forward, delivering a checks of $1,100 a year for a family of 4 in Ontario. That is more than they pay with the price on pollution. That Canada Carbon Rebate is an affordability measure, helping out hardworking families at the same time as we're innovating and fighting climate change. There's so many different things that we are delivering for Canadians, and we are not backing down on being there to support people with the tax break over the holidays, with the working Canadians a rebate check, and with all the programs we've put there to help Canadians benefit from the fact that our economy is bouncing back stronger than ever. So it's an incredible pleasure to be able to be with you all today. I'm looking forward to hearing from our other speakers, and I'll kick it off by asking Heidi Yetman, who is the president of the Canadian Teachers Federation, membership of which I was once proudly, and still, hope to coast on that a little while longer. Welcome up, Heidi. Great to see you here.
Thanks very much. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Really excited and honored to be part of this good news announcement that will help many children and their families. Aujourd'hui, nous célébrons. Regardez les choses extraordinaires qui peuvent se produire lorsque nous collaborons. Il s'agit d'un investissement dans nos enfants, dans l'avenir de notre société, grâce au repas scolaire. My name is Heidi Yetman. I'm a mother of 2 boys. I was a teacher for over 20 years. And today I'm here speaking as the president of the Canadian Teachers Federation on behalf of over 370,000 educators across the country that are working in the public sector. Teachers know how important it is for students to have food in their belly when they are learning at school. Providing students with healthy food at school improves physical and mental health, improves their ability to concentrate, reduces absenteeism, improves students' behavior and attitudes, helps students develop better relationships in school. All of this improves student learning and success. So students will be more likely to graduate and go on to futures where they contribute to their communities and country through further studies or for a better job. Healthy school food gives every child the chance of a prosperous and healthy future. This is a true investment in the children of Ontario, the future of Ontario. So I want to thank the federal government and the government of Ontario for working together to make this a reality. And I'm confident that other provinces and territories will also have their day of celebration. Je suis persuadée que les autres provinces et territoires auront également une journée de célébration et s'engageront pour l'avenir des enfants en concluant un accord avec le gouvernement fédéral. On behalf of the Teachers Federation, I want to express my appreciation to the federal government. This is a monumental step towards addressing the critical issues of food insecurity and to helping children thrive. And this will make a difference for generations to come. Merci, and I'll ask Minister Sudds.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Heidi. Good morning. Bon matin, tout le monde. What an incredibly exciting day today is. I am so thrilled that today we are able to share that we are moving forward with the Government of Ontario to deliver. Over 160,000 kids will be able to access school food this school year. This is an incredible moment as we move forward in our journey of delivering school food across this country. And when I think about the work that we've been doing, I think about the volunteers, frankly, here in Ontario, in this school, across the country. I was speaking with a mom, Megan, last week at a school in Ottawa, John Young Elementary School. She's a mom of 3 boys, and she volunteers each and every morning in their school, helping to deliver their breakfast program. I think of Melinda, a teacher I spoke with recently, who shared with me that she keeps a drawer of granola bars available for kids who might be hungry, and I'm sure the teachers in the room can relate to that. I also think of the organizations, many of which are with us today, who have been doing tremendous work on the ground, supporting schools and supporting kids in trying to do more and ensure that kids have access to food at school. You know, we announced this program in the budget in the spring, $1 billion commitment to the kids of this country. And the federal Conservatives said it couldn't be done. They voted against it, as the Prime Minister has mentioned. They referred to it as bureaucracy. And I'll tell you, as we are here today celebrating, I have to say, when we can point to the 160,000 kids in this province that will get food this year in school, this is not bureaucracy, folks. This is rolling up our sleeves with great partners to make sure that kids are not at school hungry. It is making life more affordable for parents here in Ontario and across the country. And we'll continue to find ways to ensure that we're delivering for Canadians. We found a way to deliver affordable childcare through our national childcare program, where almost 1 million kids have been able to benefit from those investments. We found a way to deliver on dental care, where we've seen over 1 million Canadians be able to access that. Et aujourd'hui, nous continuerons à trouver des moyens de répondre aux besoins des Canadiens. So far, we have seen 3 provinces sign on to our school food program. We've seen the Liberal government in Newfoundland, we've seen the NDP government in Manitoba, and today the Conservative government in Ontario. But still we see the federal Conservatives not supporting this and saying that they will cut this program if they were elected. Folks, this investment today, the impact of this on the kids behind me and kids across this province will be felt for decades to come. Les choses sont difficiles maintenant, et nous savons qu'il y a encore de travail à faire. We know there are challenges out there right now, and that there's a lot more work to be done. And we're working hard to deliver for Canadians to make life more affordable, whether that be through the National School Food Program we're sharing the good news of today, whether that be through $10 daycare, or whether that be through the Canada Child Benefit, or whether that be the good news we delivered yesterday, a tax break for all Canadians, giving them a break with affording the essentials through the holidays, through the expensive winter season, or whether that be the Working Canadians benefit, money back into the pockets of Canadians with a $250 check for workers who earned less than $150,000 last year. We will keep creating these measures and enhancing programs to support Canadians. So folks, with these 3 first National School Food Agreements announced, we will feed or support about 183,000 more children this school year so far, and that's just 3 provinces. And we won't stop the momentum there. We hope that all other provinces and territories will join along with us at the pace that we aspire to ensure that teachers like Melinda don't need to worry about that granola bar drawer, that volunteers like Megan have the support that they need to be able to feed even more kids within that school, and most importantly, so that we get food into schools across this country so that kids can focus on being kids. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Yeah. And it's my pleasure now to introduce Minister Parsa.
Thank you very much, Minister. Thank you, Prime Minister. Appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, well, thank you so much, Minister Sudds, for your kind introduction, and thank you so much for your partnership and leadership in making today's announcement a reality. Good morning, everyone. It's so wonderful to be here with all of you for this very, very exciting announcement. And I want to thank Principal Andrew Morton, the staff, the teachers, every single person here at Aylesbury Public School for not only hosting us this morning, but everything that you do to support the students and the future generation. Thank you so much, everybody. I also want to recognize friends from Student Nutrition Ontario and the many, many local community organizations and volunteers across the province for being here and for everything that you do to support students' healthy development and their success. And I want to thank the Prime Minister and Minister Sudds for their commitment to helping feed more children here in Ontario. In our province, we have a long and proud history of supporting student nutrition programs, and we're so pleased to welcome the Government of Canada as a new partner. By working together, we'll be able to provide children, youth, with the healthy start they need to learn, to grow, and to succeed. Currently, in Ontario, the Student Nutrition Program serves more than 600,000 children and youth. And the First Nations Student Nutrition Program provides more than 1.4 million nutritious breakfasts, snacks, and lunches to Indigenous children and youth across the province each year. Now, with this new federal investment of $108.5 million over the next 3 years, we'll be able to provide an estimated 9.8 million more nutritious meals to students across the province. That means we'll be able to provide 160,000 more children in schools with nutritious meals and snacks through the Ontario Student Nutrition Program every year. And this funding will also help us support Indigenous partners in providing 130,000 more meals each year through the First Nations Student Nutrition Program. Now, this would simply not be possible without our amazing partners. So thank you so much to all our existing partners and all the new ones and the Government of Canada for joining us in delivering a healthy start to students every single day. Proper nutrition is an important foundation for academic success, and by working together, collaborating, we can give students the healthy and nutritious foods they need to support their growing minds and bodies. Because, as many of you have heard me say this before, but it's important to repeat, children and youth may be a portion of our population today, but they're 100% of our future. And when children and youth succeed, we all succeed. Thank you once again for being here today. Before I'll turn it over to my colleague, the Minister of Education, Minister Jill Dunlop, I also want to thank my amazing colleague, MPP Amarjal Sandhu, and all my colleagues from all levels of government for being here and making this today's announcement reality. Thank you so much, everybody.
There's a lot of speeches back here. I know the students can see, and I promise, guys, we're almost there. Well, thank you, Minister Parsa, for that introduction, and good morning, Prime Minister Trudeau, and my colleague, Minister Sudds, and all of our distinguished guests here today. As Minister of Education, it's a privilege to join you today as we announce this important and transformative investment for the success of the future of Ontario's students. Schools are not just places for children and youth to build knowledge. They are environments where those students develop the positive habits and attitudes that will carry them through life. As a minister, a mother, and a university graduate who studied nutrition, I know that nutrition programs play an important part in a child's ability to learn, to grow, and to thrive, which ultimately has an impact on student success. And they give students the opportunity to make healthy and nutritious food choices and reduce hunger. They can also benefit students' physical and mental well-being and help them develop a sense of belonging at school. Because when children eat well, they can concentrate on learning and getting back to basics by focusing their attention on developing important lifelong skills such as reading, writing, and STEM disciplines, including math. Today's announcement does just that by helping address hunger among Indigenous and non-Indigenous students across the province, providing peace of mind to families that their children have access to healthy meals and snacks, so that students are more empowered to learn and grow without the barriers of hunger holding them back. Ontario students deserve all the supports they need to achieve their goals, including having access to nutritious food and the necessary skills and knowledge to succeed in the future. That's why in 2019, we added more learning about healthy eating to the health and physical education curriculum for grades 1 to 8 students, to help them examine their own healthy eating habits so they can make the best choices. We also increased learning about food literacy in the elementary science curriculum. Those are just some of the examples of our continued commitment to ensuring that every student can flourish and reach their full potential. As a government, Ontario looks forward to supporting healthy environments supported by student nutrition programs. Thank you, Prime Minister and Minister Sudds, for your commitment and your partnership to helping more children and youth here in Ontario. And I would now like to introduce the Director of Education, Rashmi Swarup.
Good morning, everyone. As we conclude, I want to express my heartfelt thanks to Prime Minister Trudeau, representatives from the federal and provincial governments, distinguished guests, as well as Peel District School Board staff, students, and families for joining us here today at Aylesbury Public School. I'd like to give an applaud to all the students. At Peel District School Board, we are dedicated to working collaboratively with all levels of government to support students and families across Peel. Today's announcement, combined with our existing partnerships and resources, will go a long way towards helping students gain access to healthy meal options. It represents yet another step towards our ultimate goal of creating caring, learning environments where each student has the tools, opportunities, and foundational support to thrive, achieve personal excellence, and be their best. It is through this collective effort that we can make a meaningful difference in the lives of our students. Thank you for your continued support and partnership.
We'll now begin the question period. One question, one follow-up over 20 minutes. First question goes to Barbara from iPolitics.
Hi, Prime Minister. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
By 2 minutes, yes, doing well.
Good. Okay, so my first question is, Food Banks Canada reported a 90% increase in users between 2024 and 2019. They have said that they had like 2 million visits in March alone, and 1/3 of those visitors were children. So why should Canadians have confidence in this government's ability to ensure kids are getting fed and really addressing food insecurity?
Well, we've seen disruptions in the global economy, whether it's inflation, whether it's the pressures of recovering from the pandemic, or even the time through the pandemic where Canadians were deeply impacted by so many different factors. That's why we stepped up on significant investments to support families, to support Canadians, to support kids right across the country. And why we're continuing to do that. For 2 months starting in mid-December, there'll be no GST on groceries. That's going to make a huge difference for family affordability. We're moving forward today with a concrete announcement on school foods that is going to not only put more food in kids' bellies so they can concentrate, so they can be better in school in their learning, but also it takes pressure off of grocery bills for families. We're talking about $800 in grocery savings for a family with 2 kids on average. These are things that are real in terms of delivering. We also know challenges with homelessness and insecurity are things we need to continue to step up on, which is why we've made such investments in working with provinces and municipalities to counter the challenges that are faced by the most vulnerable. We know there's more to do, but we're going to keep doing it. Okay. Ça fait plusieurs années que l'état du monde, des pressions, que ce soit l'inflation globale, que ce soit les dérangements et les perturbations dans la chaîne d'approvisionnement à l'international, même la guerre en Ukraine qui est venue affecter le prix des aliments et des denrées à travers le monde. Les gens sont en train de faire face à énormément de pression. C'est pour ça qu'on est là pour livrer, que ce soit une baisse des coûts de garderie à travers le pays, vers 10 $ par jour, que ce soit des investissements pour sauver de l'argent aux familles avec des soins dentaires, que ce soit des programmes d'assurance maladie, que ce soit des programmes comme on annonce aujourd'hui, où 400 000 enfants à travers le pays vont avoir de meilleures écoles une fois que toutes les provinces, meilleure nourriture scolaire une fois que toutes les provinces s'impliquent. Mais aussi, ça va sauver aux familles jusqu'à 800 $ en dépenses sur l'épicerie pour une famille avec 2 enfants. Donc, c'est des mesures qu'on va de l'avant pour aider les gens pendant qu'on est en train de créer une croissance économique durable pour ce pays.
Thank you. Next question is the CFIB says that they are supportive of yesterday's GST holiday, but they are also warning that it will create administrative headaches and confusion for smaller retailers. They are saying that a permanent tax relief would be far more ideal. So why not just do that, do what the NDP has called for, and permanently remove the GST on these items, and then maybe even go further and extend the GST cut to cell phone and internet bills and also home heating?
We know families are squeezed and they need a break right now, and that's why we're moving forward with a tax break that'll take the GST off of groceries, off of everyday items like kids' clothes and shoes, like visits to restaurant, takeouts, fast food, a range of items that are going to make a huge difference for families that are facing higher costs. We also know that our economy is recovering and people are coming through the worst of the difficult times, partially because we've kept stepping up on programs that are directly helping Canadians, from dental care to pharmacare to this school food program today to delivering more childcare spaces at $10 a day. These are all things we're doing to meet Canadians where they are, to support them through these challenges. And when you look at other parties, particularly the Conservatives, who've said they would cut all these programs that are helping Canadians, they even stand against school food programs, which makes no sense unless you realize that the federal Conservatives are very much about amplifying people's anxieties and the problems they're facing, and not about actually solving them. We're in the business of rolling up our sleeves and solving things for Canadians. Doing it now.
Next question.
Ariel, si vous pouvez répondre en français aussi, s'il vous plaît. Some Atlantic governments say they were blindsided by your GST holiday. Will you compensate the provinces for lost revenue?
I think every provincial government across the country understands how important it is to be there for Canadians who are facing real pressures around the cost of living. That's what we're doing. That's why we're stepping up to support Canadians, and I'm expecting provinces who see the challenges that their citizens are facing to realize that this is a way they can be there for people as they face the challenges of the next few months. Je sais que les provinces à travers le pays reconnaissent à quel point les gens en arrachent. Il y a des défis pour les familles au niveau du coût de la vie, et c'est des mesures qui vont directement venir aider, alléger les coûts auxquels toutes les familles font face. Et je m'attends, et je suis très optimiste que les différentes provinces vont reconnaître que c'est une façon très directe et concrète d'aider les familles dans le défi. C'est ce que le gouvernement fédéral fait, et on espère pouvoir le faire en conjonction avec les provinces.
And my follow-up, for 2 months, your government has been unable to pass legislation. Have you given up on the House? What are you willing to do to end the logjam?
Well, you know, it is really important for Canadians to understand that parliamentarians were elected to support people across the country, to make the investments, to make create the programs that are there to help Canadians at times of difficulty. And the fact that the Conservatives have totally frozen the way the House is working, totally bogged down, preventing us from being able to actually pass legislation that is there to support Canadians, sort of proves the point I was making earlier, that federal Conservatives care only about showing the problems people are facing and amplifying those, but not actually providing any help for Canadians. They want to illustrate that Canada is broken by breaking it for Canadians, by preventing us to solve the challenges people are facing. So we're going to stay focused on delivering these things. But I will point out, not just this tax break for the next 2 months that all Canadians are going to get, and the $250 check for Canadians who worked last year, which is going to make a big difference, and we need to pass that through the House. There's legislation that is going to deliver health benefits for refugees and asylum seekers that is not passing through the House. And we know Conservatives from under Stephen Harper, when Pierre Poilievre was last in government, slashed health benefits for those vulnerable asylum seekers and put at risk not just their health, but the health of all Canadians with that. That's what we need to pass in the House. We need to pass legislation around dental care to deliver to even more Canadians the supports they need. Part of the school foods legislation is needing to be passed in the upcoming legislative session. So it's not just the Conservatives that have decided they want to block everything. It boggles the mind that the NDP is crossing its arms and saying, no, we shouldn't be passing measures on school foods. We don't need to pass measures on health benefits for refugees. We don't need to be passing measures that are going to support the most vulnerable. That's not who the NDP is supposed to be. So I'm really calling on the opposition parties to not let Conservatives continue to prove that Parliament is broken, and instead get busy delivering concretely for Canadians.
Next question.
Rihanna Lim, Canadian Press. Why are you only giving the $250 checks to working Canadians and not others like retirees or people with disabilities?
Over the past number of years, we have been extraordinarily present in helping the most vulnerable Canadians, whether it's by increasing the old age security for older seniors by 10% to recognize the costs they're facing, whether it's there to invest in increases to the Canada Child Benefit to help families with young kids, significant investments in childcare that's taking a huge pressure off families. But as I travel across the country, I do regularly hear from working Canadians who are having trouble making ends meet, but saying, look, I don't have kids, I'm not a senior yet, and I'm facing challenges. You know, I'm lucky in many aspects of my life, but where are you going to see the work that I've done? And I realized that Canada made it through the pandemic because Canadians rolled up their sleeves and leaned in and were there for each other. We were able to bring down inflation and start to solve the housing crisis because Canadians worked hard to get us through this. So we're not reducing any of the other programs we're delivering to the most vulnerable, but recognizing hardworking Canadians, hardworking middle-class Canadians are making less than $150,000 last year, with a thank you and support for the things that they need to continue to do to keep our economy strong, to build a strong future. It's about seeing Canadians as the hardworking nation builders they are and giving them that support that they need at this time of challenge.
Next question.
Pleasant afternoon. This is Hamreen Kaur from Punjab TV. The recent announcement that was made on GST and HST has brought smile to the faces of the Canadians. However, there are decades and decades of long studies and researches that have shown that when a short-term tax redemption or reduction is done to any of the economy, it does not help economy to a very large scale. You know, it doesn't boom up the economy much. It is getting really hard for the Canadians to keep food on the table. The grocery prices are rising up like anything. Healthy Meals for Kids is a great initiative, no doubt. But we all know it all starts with the family. So when the families are not able to afford and keep food on the table, they are angered, they are frustrated, they are agitated, and somewhere we know it is all going to affect on the mental health of the kids as well. So even if the school is providing such great meals for the kids, but then if the family is not in that situation, obviously it helps to hamper the growth and development of a child. So what's your plan on that?
Sorry, which part of what you were asking about is the question? What's your question?
So I mean to say that even though you have made healthy meals for the kids, this great initiative, however, what plan do you do what does your government plan to do for the families so that they can afford good meals, because the grocery prices are also going up?
Well, the most important thing that we needed to do to help families is bring down inflation, and we were able to do that. We brought down inflation, and we're seeing interest rates come down as well, which is making a huge difference for people and for families. That's why we're continuing to deliver the measures that are supporting people, whether it's childcare, whether it's dental care, whether it's investments in this school food program. And I take a little bit of issue with what you said about what the economy needs. What the economy needs is for people to be able to afford their groceries. What the economy needs is people to be able to be optimistic about the future we're building with good jobs, good opportunities for their kids. We're focused on Canadians. I'll let the bankers worry about the economy. We're focused on building opportunities for kids in a fundamental way, being there to support families, because an economy works when families are confident about the future. That's why we continue to grow the economy from the bottom up, from the middle out, while Pierre Poilievre talks about cutting supports for families, cutting the investments in the future that Canadians are going to be relying on.
Next question.
Nathaniel Dove, Global News. Prime Minister, in the past few years, the CBSA has identified 16 senior members of the Iranian regime living here in Canada, violating your government sanctions you put in place after Mahsa Amini's death. So far, though, only one has been deported. Why is that, and why won't your government release their names?
We have taken significant measures to crack down on the murderous Iranian regime's impact in Canada and to hold it to account. We move forward with some of the strongest measures available to Canada in under our immigration laws, measures that only were brought forward around the Rwandan genocide and Bosnia, to make sure that a number of Iranians who are involved in some of the terrible actions of this government do not ever be able to seek asylum or seek refuge in Canada. On top of that, we've listed the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist entity under our criminal code. We significantly their ability to have an impact on Canada. We know there is much more to do, and I can assure you that law enforcement officials and immigration officials and CBSA continue to step up to make sure that we're protecting Canadians and not harboring people who are out there to destabilize our economy and our country and hurt Canadian families.
Sir, I didn't quite hear an answer about why only one has been deported yet, respectfully. Why is it so low?
The law enforcement and judicial system is doing its work. Canadians have confidence in that.
Taranjit from Red FM. Recently, a mainstream media reported that a Canadian security agency claimed Prime Minister Modi and the Foreign Affairs Minister are aware of the attacks on Canadian citizens. However, the National Security Agency stated that it has no evidence to support his allegation. Will your government investigate how an agency can make such a claim and how a mainstream media outlet can publish this story without any evidence?
Well, first of all, we have seen, unfortunately, that criminal leaks, criminals leaking top secret information to the media has consistently gotten those stories wrong. That's why we had a national inquiry into foreign interference that has highlighted that the criminals leaking information to media outlets are unreliable on top of being criminal. In terms of the issue, let me just repeat that my primary job as a Canadian leader is to keep Canadians safe. And everything we have done over the past years in multiple difficult situations is to put the emphasis on keeping Canadians safe here at home across the country and making sure we're standing up for the rule of law. We will always do that.
Next question.
Catherine Brulotte, Radio-Canada. Je voudrais parler de la cible de 2 % des dépenses militaires de l'OTAN. Vous pensez pouvoir l'atteindre d'ici 2032. Avez-vous des pressions du côté américain pour atteindre cet objectif-là avant la fin du mandat du président élu, donc 2029?
Tout d'abord, on verra bien quelles seront les conversations avec la nouvelle administration américaine une fois qu'ils seront arrivés au pouvoir, mais je peux vous dire qu'on reconnaît à quel point le monde est dans une situation entièrement différente et plus dangereuse que ce qu'elle a été pendant plusieurs décennies. Quand on est arrivé au pouvoir, le gouvernement conservateur fédéral avait réduit les dépenses militaires jusqu'à moins de 1 % de notre PIB. Nous avons mis sur place d'abord un plan pour les augmenter de 70 %, plus récemment un plan pour les doubler. Parce qu'on sait à quel point on a besoin de donner les effectifs et l'équipement nécessaires aux femmes et aux hommes des Forces armées canadiennes, de protéger notre pays, notre souveraineté dans un monde de plus en plus dangereux. On va continuer d'investir de façon responsable dans nos forces armées, parce que le Canada a un rôle à jouer, pas juste pour défendre le territoire canadien, ce qui sera toujours la priorité, mais aussi pour promouvoir les règles et les valeurs qu'on reconnaît au Canada comme étant essentielles pour l'avenir.
En anglais aussi?
We recognize and have recognized that the world is getting significantly more dangerous. And I know we'll have lots of conversations with the incoming American administration about making sure we're doing everything necessary to keep our citizens safe. But let me highlight that when we took office in 2015, the previous Conservative government had dropped its military spending to below 1% of our GDP. Going in the wrong direction. So we significantly invested. We put forward first a plan on defense spending that increased by 70% our defense spending, and then a more recent plan that is doubling our defense spending into the future. We're going to hit that 2% in the coming years, and we're going to do it in ways that are right for Canada and for Canadians as we defend our territory, but also as we protect and promote the rules and the values that keep Canadians safe all around the world, along with our partners.
The question that the students that are very patient behind you want to know, and my colleagues too, would be if you are going to the Rogers Centre when in Toronto, but that can't be my question. Le représentant républicain Mike Turner a qualifié l'attitude du Canada d'arrogante, même de parasite, en disant que si tout le monde avait les mêmes politiques que le Canada, il n'y aurait pas d'OTAN. Comment vous réagissez à ça?
Je ne veux pas réagir à ce que certains républicains ont à dire à partir du Canada. Nous sommes un pays qui prenne nos propres décisions sur la meilleure façon d'aller de l'avant, mais je suis content de corriger la mésinformation, la désinformation pour démontrer que, contrairement aux conservateurs, c'est le Parti libéral qui est en train d'investir dans la croissance de nos effectifs militaires et on va continuer de le faire.
Last question.
En anglais?
Listen, I'm not going to comment on everything that certain right-wing Americans have to say about Canada, particularly when it's based on misinformation or disinformation. I'd point out that it was conservative governments in this country that previously slashed defense spending, that let our defense spending go below 1%, and it is this Liberal government that is stepping up significantly on investing in our military, on making up for the underinvestment by the Conservative Stephen Harper, Pierre Poilievre government, and actually making sure we can do our share and more than our share, because Canadians always step up significantly when it comes to global challenges and conflicts.
Perfect. Hey, this is Shubi from Y Media. Recently at the G20 summit, we did see a glimpse of you, President Biden, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi together. I wanted to know, was there any discussions that took place at that time, or was there a one-on-one sit-down? And how are Canada and India relations right now, and what is the government doing to work on them?
I had an excellent one-on-one sit-down with President Biden where we talked about a range of issues, including a number of challenging international issues. We will continue to work with the United States. Will continue to work with all partners around the world to defend the rule of law, to keep people safe, and to make sure that we're growing prosperity for everyone in all the right ways.
Thank you, Prime Minister. That concludes today's press conference.
Merci beaucoup, tout le monde.
We're at time.
Sorry? What's that? Is there time? Are we out of time? We're out of time. All right. Thank you, guys.